Thanks, Charles. Microsoft has no more important partner than Adobe, and I'm delighted to be here with Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayen. Shantanu, warm welcome to Microsoft Ignite.
Thanks for having me, Judson. This is a pretty amazing show. I've been a huge Warriors fan, but being on the floor is truly a special experience.
Well, there's high expectations now. We'll see how you can do on your layup. So we've talked a lot about this notion of the frontier firm. We've talked about ubiquitous and innovation. We've talked about AI and the flow of work. We've talked about observability. And I know that Adobe shares many of the same views. You want to talk a little bit about how Adobe brings to life AI through your strategy and your customer orientation, and how Copilot and agents come to life inside of Adobe.
Sure. First, congratulations on all the incredible announcements. When I read and hear about everything that you're doing with M365, with Copilot, with Azure AI Foundry, I think across all of those dimensions, we're partnering. As we think about Adobe, we really have three customer constituencies where we're focused on as we think about empowering everybody to create. First, on the creative side, I think everybody would acknowledge people use our products to do any creative endeavor that they want. On the business productivity side, what we are doing around Acrobat and PDF, there was a lot of conversation about unstructured information in your keynote. That's the other area. Perhaps the area that a lot of your customers may not know as much is we're also one of the largest providers of marketing technology in the world, something that we've partnered on from day one. So as we think about what we are doing around AI, I think the themes that you outlined is exactly what we are doing, which is first, how do you bring AI into the applications? How do you think about ubiquitous access to AI within the applications? And we do that across the data layer, the models layer, the agentic orchestration layer, as well as what we are doing with the core infrastructure. So it's really great to see the multiple areas in which we can partner.
That's awesome. And you just had Adobe Max a couple months ago and had your own slew of announcements that were really magical. I think, suffice to say, the pace of innovation is really frenetic right now. Talk a little bit about our partnership and how that comes together in light of all of the new things you're releasing to market.
Well, as I was sitting through this keynote and just seeing the amount of announcements that you made, it's mind-boggling. And we're trying to do the same, which is how do we innovate at the pace of AI for all of our customers? So a couple of the key announcements that we have made. First, as you talked about AI Foundry, within Photoshop right now, you can actually support any third-party models. So as you talk about Model Router, what we have done is within Photoshop, you can pick whether it's Adobe Firefly as a model, whether it's MAI that you're going to work on, OpenAI, and other partners. So, the models and supporting all of these models, because they'll all have slightly different characteristics, is an area where we made a significant amount of innovation. On the agentic side, making sure that the task that you want to perform so that the model can actually reason on your behalf and you can do workflow, whether it's in Photoshop, whether it's in Acrobat, or whether it's in our marketing products. We've also released a huge amount of agentic stuff, and I'm really excited about what you talked about, with the ability to do governance with Agent 365. And so a significant amount of agentic innovation that we have delivered. And then finally, on the marketing side, I think the area where we have partnered from day one, as you're working on sales, as you're working on service, and we think about for every knowledge worker in the enterprise, how they need to be both productive and creative. I think that the work that we're doing together to make sure that we can embed creativity in M365, as well as integrate our marketing stack with what you're doing on the service and sales side, I think those are just a few of the areas that we're working on together.
Indeed. And we've been using Adobe prolifically throughout our marketing organization at Microsoft, also doing co-innovation and engineering work, even with Firefly. And it's really important how Adobe takes on this notion of enterprise grade. It matters to Microsoft, it matters to our joint customers. At the core of that is trust. Maybe your view on how AI has to come through and deliver on the promise of trust in the enterprise.
I think that's so true, especially for the people in the room today, because if you're developers, you're IT professionals, and you're thinking about enterprise-grade software, and how you release this, for customer engagement, which is an area that we're really interested in, for knowledge productivity, scaling this so that it's a truly scalable solution across all enterprises is super critical. So we're thrilled that you are deploying our solutions. The reverse is true, which is we use Copilot every single day in order to make our developers or GitHub Copilot. But I think the biggest issue that we're working on together, which I'm really proud of, is what is the data governance? How do people get assured of the fact that all the data that they are entrusting, whether it's to the Microsoft or the Adobe solutions, the governance around that is absolutely ironclad. We were thrilled that we announced this thing called the Content Authenticity Initiative, and that's all about saying, we respect the intellectual property that the creators have, and so the ability to make sure that their partners, both LinkedIn and Microsoft are partners. We now have 5,000 partners. So dealing with this issue of content provenance and trust, both within an enterprise as well as outside the enterprise, I think that's an area that we can continue to innovate pretty dramatically.
It's awesome. Well, look, it's a fantastic partnership, one deeply ingrained in engineering and joint work together, a partnership with a purpose, and a partnership that above all stands for customers. So thank you so much, Shantanu, for being here with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations on all your innovation.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.